Welcome to Spain, Poco a Poco. Buenos dias, Tanya.
Hello, how's it going?
It's going well. It's
Well,
going well.
very good.
I feel like we have a theme going on because this Poco a Poco kind of goes along with kind of the few topics in the episode this week,
We have
which is
been talking a lot about food, obviously, because of Thanksgiving, and today we're going to talk about patatas or potatoes, of which there are plenty of varieties in Spain. Splain.
definitely plenty more comfort food for us to bring about.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
And we've talked about this before. In Spain, you are not going to escape potatoes at a restaurant. They are coming at you every which way.
Not only because it is one of the Xena's favorite things, so they always have to be ordered anyway. And
Hmm.
there are a million ways you can get potatoes here. So we can. The first thing that was surprising to me was that potatoes did not originate in England or Ireland in Europe. They actually were first introduced by the Spanish conquistadors in 1537. So the Spanish were actually the first Europeans to encounter potatoes and bring them over. So I didn't know that.
Imagine us mentioning that on a Spain
I know.
podcast.
I
I
mean,
mean, they should make us citizens right away because we are promoting that Spain invented it all.
right? Well, which they basically did in a lot of ways. But I mean, I don't think it's just because I'm British that I think of England and Ireland as just like these core potato places. And I know we have
Hmm.
a lot of potatoes in the menus in Spain, but they have a lot of other things that I wouldn't necessarily have associated Spain with potatoes as much generally. But yeah, there we go.
I mean, I'm with you. I mean, I grew up in colonial New Jersey as a little kid,
Hmm.
and we would do potatoes. I remember making Irish potatoes, which were like those little. Did you ever? Is that an English thing or is it just an American
Sounds like
culture
an
thing?
Irish thing.
But no, but they're like because it's like about the potato famine, so they're actually like coconut balls,
What? No.
and then they're called Irish potatoes, but they're coconut balls.
Well, I
You
don't
never
know that
had
the
those?
Irish had coconut back then, so I'm thinking this is an American thing.
It's because about them not having potatoes during the potato famine,
Right,
so
but
it
I
was
don't
like
think
they
they
were
would have had
replacement.
coconut as a
Oh
as
no,
do
it's
you
a
know.
butchering. It's
Right,
a
okay.
butchering.
I don't think it's like we don't have potatoes and we're starving. Oh, look, we have coconuts. Not sure that was happening. No, I haven't. Sorry. So to confirm, no, I have not heard of that at all.
Yeah, they were like it's like a coconut ball,
Hmm.
and um, then I want to say they were wrapped in like cinnamon. I think we rolled them in cinnamon to make it look like a potato.
It
So like when you
sounds
bit,
good. I mean, I'd eat that.
it was
Yeah,
something. Maybe it's just a New Jersey thing. Who knows?
I've never heard of it, never seen it, but totally sounds good.
So if any New Jersey listeners out there, I hope you're reminiscing about. I think it was like in third grade we went through that.
Did you actually make them?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
a
okay.
class thing, and the teacher brought in all the stuff, and it was
Yeah.
during I don't know St. Patrick's Day or Colonial Days. I don't know. We are always celebrating something.
Well, so that was a tangent. Surprise,
Yeah.
surprise. Should we get back on track?
All right, back from our tangent. Let's
Hmm.
get back to the matter at hand. And I know I'm at fault for the tangent,
That's all right. Back to
but
real potatoes. Back to real
we're back to
potatoes.
real potatoes. So Don Juan Castellanos mentioned the plant in 1537
Hmm.
as part of a military report when they were raiding an Incan
As
village.
one.
They were pillaging and plundering
Yeah.
in Peru as they were looking for things to pillage and plunder, probably like gold and silver and things.
Yeah, which in
And
fact, I mean, one could say that potatoes were quite gold back then. I mean, really. So
mhm.
that was a good find. And then just because we were talking about when I was actually curious, when did potatoes end up in England? They were brought over in 1586 by Sir Thomas Harriot, who brought them back from the Americas. So they did not come, through Spain into England. They did also come over from the Americas on, in that direction as well. So, but quite a bit later, considerably
Right.
later. Yeah.
Which is, so England did do their part, but Spain
Yeah.
wins
We were a
out
little
on
behind,
the
I
rights.
guess.
And in 1553, in the Crónica de Peru,
Hmm.
Pedro Cieza de Leon referred to the plant as the batata. And I don't know about you, but I see batata and patata.
Oh, really?
Tomato.
Well, I was gonna
Yeah.
say the way you said it, I was gonna say, by the way, that's with a B instead of a P because it does sound so similar that you almost can't
Mm-hmm.
hear it. So yeah, I mean,
Because I see them in the bags in the grocery store, they'll say patatas on it. And I was like, does that mean
mm,
like sweet potato? Like I was like, is that something different? But I don't know. I'm gonna have to research that one.
and I'm wondering if that's a Valenciano thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
could
could
be.
be.
Yeah. If you don't know, just say it's Valenciano.
There you go. Yeah, so once the potatoes came in, they were, which I'm not surprised because I am not a fan. They replaced turnips and rutabagas. I'm not a fan of turnips, and I will say one of the things that I hate is when somebody chops up potatoes and turnips and roasts them, and you don't know which one's which. Not a fan.
So you didn't like my Thanksgiving dinner, huh?
I don't remember eating a turnip.
The turkey was cooked on top of a bed
Oh well,
of
I wouldn't have
turnips,
known. Yeah,
rutabagas, and
I
potatoes. That
didn't
was
eat
that.
any of
There was
that.
the bowl of you eat the bowl of the schmaltzy
No, there was
vegetables.
so much other food. I mean, I had to pick and choose. There was so much good food. So no, this was also something from my childhood where, at school they would roast these things and it wasn't done with a lot of flavor. So and it all looked the same and so anyway, that's just one of my old things from like school food.
You're allowed to. I mean,
Yeah.
turnip. I mean, I happen to love turnips and rutabagas, but I understand that
Yeah.
other people don't.
Anyway, so they kind of replaced them, obviously, and throughout Europe, the potato became the new food in the 19th century, and it had a lot of advantages, which was they didn't spoil as much, which is obviously a huge, huge deal, and they
Mm-hmm.
were big, so they were good for satisfying hunger, and they were cheap. So all
Right.
those things together obviously made it so that this crop spread very quickly across Europe and became a major staple by the mid-century.
And pretty much around the world. I think
Mm-hmm.
they're pretty much everywhere now, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm
So
sure.
here we know that one way to get. I mean, the most popular potatoes that you're gonna find are your tortilla de patatas. Our little
Mm-hmm.
our Spanish
Spanish
omelets.
tortillas.
Yeah, the tortillas. I hate when people say, "Oh, it's an omelet." It's more like a frittata. It's not an omelet.
And it's not really a frittata either because the frittata is kind of, I mean, it's thicker like a frittata, right? Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not, it is, you know what it is? It's a tortilla de patatas. That's what it is. It's not like anything
It's that's
else.
what it is. But you don't put it. But it's not something you put taco meat on. So if you're
No.
coming here, you see it.
So it's deep. I mean, so it's a deep dish. It's kind of the depth of a deep dish pizza, I suppose. And it's
Right.
layers of potatoes in scrambled eggs. Well, not scrambled, but eggs that have been whisked up and then they're cooked.
Hmm.
And then optionally, the main ones that you'll find will either have onion. The two that I've found, onion or spinach. Those are the two main ones that I see
Right.
as like varieties. But obviously, I do a lot of different things with them at home that I would never serve to a Spanish person because I'd probably
Right.
be
And there are some like local cafes that will have like three or four different
yeah.
ones. But and they may throw a ham in one or a
Mm-hmm.
chorizo in one, but it's rare. You're not going to find that. That's like a place where you specially do that, and that's it.
Yeah, and also because it's served with other things. So it's served with hamon and it's so you don't really need these other things in it. And the big
Right.
the big debate really about tortillas de patatas is whether it should be soft in the middle or not. That the how it's cooked will depict, I think, a lot of whether a restaurant has a reputation for having a really good tortilla.
I forgot to tell you this privately, so I'll tell it to you
Sure, tell the
publicly.
world.
I just last week stopped by a little cafe because
Hmm.
I needed to get something at a shop that wasn't open yet. And I was like, oh, I don't want to waste 15 minutes like elsewhere. I have nowhere to go. So I went to a cafe and I ordered a tortilla and it was so runny and goopy in the middle. And I
Ooh.
thought of
Oh
you
my
and I was
gosh.
like, oh, she would love
We'll have to go
this.
back. Yeah, I do love
Yeah, it
that.
was good.
So that's how it's supposed to be, in my opinion. And then another staple is patatas bravas, Zena's favorite. This is what led her. This was the gateway to Spanish food for her, basically. So
Hmm.
patatas bravas on every table, and then moving on to other things because that's just little cubes of fried potatoes, and then it has that spicy sauce and an alioli on top. So a red sauce and a white sauce drizzled on top. Very, very good.
So
So
delicious.
good.
And then the patatas alioli, which are basically the same thing, but without the red
Hmm.
sauce,
Okay,
basically,
so
right? It's just the alioli
just the garlicky
sauce.
mayonnaise.
Which I guess, for a foreigner coming over, it would be like a wedge fry in the States. It'd be like
Yeah.
a steak fry kind
But
of
like
thing.
I would chop that in half or three pieces to get the patatas bravas. I have seen them wedgie like that, and I don't like that. It's too
Hmm.
much potato. I like to have more outer layer. So
You want more dipping
I
surfaces
want
and
more crispy
pieces and
surfaces. Yeah, yeah.
gotcha.
So I don't like it when I go to a restaurant and the patatas bravas are like totally like wedge fries. I'm like, no.
Well, then we come to my favorite, which is a baked potato,
Mm-hmm,
a baked, a roasted tile paper, which is I've mentioned it many times on the podcast. Is the patatas panaderas,
mm-hmm.
which means baker's potatoes, and these are most like a scalloped potato, but instead of using cream and butter and cheeses, you're using olive oil
Mm-hmm.
and onions. So it's like layers of olive oil, onions,
Garlic.
and potatoes and garlic and lots of garlic. And some people may put peppers in it. And in my recipe, I put a cup of dry white wine at the end.
That seems like a
Like the last
winner.
15
Yeah.
minutes. Yeah. And the thing is they're so soft and buttery and
Mm-hmm.
they feel so rich like a scalloped potato without all the cream and butter to like weigh you down,
Yeah.
but yet they still feel the same
Yeah.
in the pleasing of the soul.
Absolutely. I do love a roasted potato. So another type of potato, which is found in the Canary Islands, but I think in other places too. Like some of these have origins. It doesn't mean they're not found in other places, but they did have sort of a place where they're well known for maybe having originated. And this is the
Right.
Canary Islands, which is the papas arrugadas, which is a wrinkly
Arrugadas?
arrugadas.
Sure, I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
That's what it sounds like to me.
I'm just rolling my R's with you to have fun.
That's a salted potato. So this I'm going to hand over to you because I know you have some experience in something kind of like this. Please explain.
So yes, in like upstate New York, they have something called salt
Okay.
potatoes, which these are very similar, and I've made them before, the salt potatoes. So when I saw this, I'm like, now I'm gonna hunt to find these in Valencia to see what they're like. It's basically take like little potatoes, like new potatoes,
Okay.
and you boil them in salt water, but like you put like tons of salt in your
Okay.
pot. So as they boil, and then when you take them out and they dry, they're crusted
Oh,
in salt,
okay.
and it's crispy when they dry because the salt takes all the moisture from the skin, almost like a baked
But the salt
potato,
is
right?
staying, is kind of getting attached to the potato too.
Yeah, because they're boiled in like a pound
And
of
it's
salt. Like it's a
connecting.
ton
Oh,
of salt.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So when you pull it out, the skin is and then they dry, and then the skin's
Mm-hmm.
hardened, but because the salt dries everything. But then the inside, it's like creamy butter. Like it's just so
Oh.
it's like a mashed potato in the
And you eat
inside.
the
It's so good.
outside. You eat that all that salt.
Yeah, you dip the whole like in the American upstate New York recipe, you dip them like a melted
Oh, you
butter,
dip them. Okay.
and yeah,
Oh.
and in Spain you dip them in a mojo sauce, either a green or a red, like an oily, peppery sauce.
Okay.
So
I really don't think I've ever seen anything like that here or in America. So if you find them,
well, I'm
let
gonna
us
hunt
know.
now. Yeah,
Or you'll be forced to make them, one or the other.
or I'll be making them. Yeah. And then we had the patatas revolconas, which is just a mashed potato, but they like to put smoky paprika and crispy pork in it. So I'm not going to say no to
No,
that
and you
either.
got to put pork in something here, so that's it.
Yes.
This looks like it would be something that would be maybe on the side of some meat dish or something. So not necessarily
Right.
eaten on its own like some of these other ones. And then we have patatas a la pobre, which is something that maybe originated in Andalusia. This literally means poor man's potatoes. So this is pan fried slices with peppers and onions. You can kind of see that that's just like you've got your basics and you're just frying it up together.
It's like home
Mm-hmm.
fries. It's
Yep,
exactly what it looks like.
absolutely.
And nothing wrong with home
Nothing wrong with
fries.
that.
And they do put their potatoes in soups and stews, like the patatas a la Riojana.
Hmm.
Did I pronounce that right?
I
Was
mean,
that
that
all
sounds
right?
good to
I
me.
mean, who
Yeah.
knows? We butcher the language. I mean, Spain. We're
We're
begging for
trying our
citizenship.
best.
Just don't.
We are
Yes, we're
trying our best.
Don't hold our pronunciation of the language against us. Which is a potato and chorizo stew with, guess what?
Paprika.
Paprika.
I think, yeah, I don't know about that one. They also have a caldo gallego, which is a Galician broth with potatoes, greens, beans, and pork. That seems to have a few more things in it, but I'm not a big soup person, so none of these I think are quite my forte, but I'm sure they're delicious. I just wouldn't be making them. So if I might try them and be like, oh my God, that's outstanding.
And then we have a marmitaco, which is a not a
But I love the
taco.
name.
It's a Basque potato and tuna stew with peppers.
I don't
Hey, I'm not
know.
big on the tuna in my soup, so I don't know
Yeah,
about
now we're
that
going
one.
like potatoes and tuna in a soup. I'm not not so sure. And then we have other kind of ways that potatoes are used. We have huevos rotas or huevos estrellados, which is a fried potato topped with broken eggs and cured ham. So this is
And you'll find
mhm,
those pretty much, I don't want to say everywhere, but they're not hard to find and they are
delicious.
delicious.
Yes, absolutely. Really, really good. You'll get, I don't know, you've seen those little brown little pots that you can put in the oven at the Chinese stores. Like you can buy them in all different
Mm-hmm.
sizes. And this is like a very traditional Spanish way of cooking. You just throw all your stuff in there and stick it in the oven. I think that's maybe how
Mm-hmm.
these are made. And they're like really good if you have them in like a cafe. And then we have the ensaladilla rusa, which is, we've talked about this before. This is basically a potato salad.
But with tuna, peas, carrots, and
Yes, with
mayonnaise.
a lot
You
of.
know?
Well, I mean, a potato salad is kind of one of those family recipe things, right? Well, I've had them with all sorts of things in them.
I've never had them with tuna until I stepped foot on
Oh,
these
okay.
shores.
But peas, carrots, and mayonnaise, I think, would be acceptable, right?
I've never had peas or
Really?
carrots in a potato salad either. I've had egg. I've had I've had relish, like
I
pickled
don't think I've
relish in
ever had
it.
one potato salad that looked like another potato salad. Like it's
Really?
almost like, how does your family make it? I don't know.
Well, I don't know. With tuna, that's not American.
Tuna.
That is it's
Yeah.
fine, but your first bite you're
No,
not
that's a step.
expecting it.
That's a
You know
step.
what I
A
mean?
step apart from the regular.
I went to one place that had an ensalada
Uh-huh.
rusa, and they didn't have the tuna mixed in
Oh,
with it. They had like seared ahi on top of like a
okay, that's
potato salad,
fancy.
and
Okay,
that was next level
but that's a whole
deliciousness.
other level, right? Yeah, that's
Yeah, yeah,
definitely then putting just like a can of tuna in it.
that wasn't a €3
No,
side. No.
that wasn't the pre-made one at the grocery store.
No.
And then obviously, like everywhere else, we have patatas fritas, which is just your chips, French
French
fries. Yeah,
fries.
French fries. Simply fried potatoes,
Right.
which actually you don't find in a lot of places. I will say. I mean, it's not because we have patatas bravas. It is in a lot of places, but
Right.
it don't.
That's the French
Yeah,
fry of
don't
Spain.
assume
Yeah.
that French fries are going to be everywhere. I mean, they are in a lot of places. It's not like it's not here, but it's not always a thing.
All right, so I'm gonna butcher this one. It's a Catalonian treat called trinchat. I think that's how you pronounce it because I get
I
confused with
can't
the
do the X's.
X's.
I never know what to do with that, but that sounded good to me.
And it's a winter dish of mashed potatoes and cabbage that's pan fried, almost like a
Hmm.
tortilla, like a cake, and often topped with some sort of bacon or
Yeah, that
hamon.
looks like it's either looks like a mashed potato type situation or a tortilla situation. So I'm sure that sounds pretty
Hmm.
good to mix out the potatoes with the cabbage. I like that. And then lastly, we have from our area, we have a Valencian Mediterranean coast stew, which is called an ali pebre, which is an eel stew. And that is potatoes simmered with eel and garlic, paprika, and almonds. Have you had this?
Yummy. I have not, and I want it, and I love eel, and I was actually hanging out with some Valencian like
Mm-hmm.
people born and raised here for generations, Valencians, and they were a little older than us. And I was talking to them. They were telling me all this Spanish history stuff and everything. And then we somehow got talking about food, and they brought up the eel and that how it was so much more common before, but it's gotten so
Oh, I
expensive. So
see.
it's not served as much because it's harder to find the proper eels
Mm-hmm.
for this and everything. And I was like, but now as you were talking about, I'm like,
Now
now I
it
want
now we know
some.
what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I think that covers potatoes in Spain from what we know about them and what we've learned.
Yes, and I'm going to go look up some. I'm going to find us some salt potatoes, and you're coming
Yes.
with me. We're gonna go find them and
That's so
eat them.
interesting. I'm definitely up for that. All right.
All
Till
right,
next
ciao,
time.
Tanya.
Thank you for listening to Our Spain Poco a Poco. Since you love us so much, please do go on to our social media and follow us and like us and subscribe where you're listening, because it really does help us to grow and stick around and do what we are very much enjoying doing.
And, give us a shout out on the social medias. Give us a comment on what you would like to hear us talk about. I mean, we like to hear ourselves speak, but we do want to make this, informative for our listeners.
Absolutely, yeah. You can comment on one of our posts, or you can send us a message through our Spain Facebook page or Instagram. So we would love to hear from you.
Yes, we would. Till the next episode.
Bye.